Hey, today I am going to share with you how to never be spammy again. And a lot of our clients will say things like, I don't want to spam my friends and family. And I want to acknowledge that this is a real challenge. I think that there are some attitudes in the industry like, don't worry about them, who cares what they think? And I do think there's a small element of, we all need to have our own journeys in life, but I kind of think that what our closest friends and family think, I mean, those are the most important relationships of our life, and we want to be proud of ourselves. And there is a human fear of judgment, around our community, our tribe. Our tribes are really, really important, and our relationships are just such an important part of our lives. And so I don't think that any of us needs to run a business in such a way that our relationships suffer. In fact, I think the best part about network marketing is that you get to spend your work time building relationships and pouring into relationships that you wouldn't normally be able to pour into. And so I do think that we need to conduct business in such a way that it improves relationships as opposed to harm them. So today I'm going to talk about how to make sure you aren't spammy. We're going to start by defining what spam is, some social media tips on how, like, what is spam and what is not spam, and then how to do outreach in a way that is relevant to people. So here we go. Number one, spam is defined as mass irrelevant communication. So basically, I mean, where spam came from was like just an email blast that had absolutely no relevance to anyone. And it was just like throwing spaghetti on the wall. There was no targeting, there was no personalization, there was nothing. Um, so I think it's really important that we understand what spam is, because there are things that we do that are spam and there are things that we do that are not spam. And this idea of I don't want to be spammy, we need to replace that with something that isn't spammy, right? That's really important. So let's talk about posting on social media. So spam, like on your personal Facebook page, would probably be random pictures of your product and how awesome they are. And the reason I would consider this possibly to be spam is because your friends and family aren't following you because they want to know what you're selling. They're following you because they want to know about your life. This is not your product's social media profile. And so I think that's what puts it on the border. But what's not spam are things like questions you would normally ask your family, stories about your life. Now, if you're talking about your product or your business, it would be in the context of how it is operating in your life. That's what makes it relevant. And so relevancy is super important when it comes to, is something spam or is something not spam. I do think it's worth noting as we talk about outreach, that not all outreach, just because it's outreach doesn't make it spam. So let's talk about Messenger for a second, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or any platform. Spam would be, hi, I haven't talked to you in a while. You want to look at something, and it's the same message over and over. You're just like blasting it out to whoever, regardless of whether or not it's relevant to your relationship or relevant to them. But what would not be spam is, let's say you're chatting cordially in Messenger, reconnecting about life, and they mention a problem, and you say something like, do you know what I do for my side business? I help X type of people with Y types of problems. It'd be weird not to offer you help as well. Can I share a little bit more? Or if you're having an event, to go back to people you've been in communication with on a personal level and say, hey, I'm doing this thing for work, and I thought it might be right up your alley. Is this something that you would like me to tell you more about? That would not be spammy because it would be relevant in the picture. So outreach and spam are not the same thing, even if it's people you don't know. My business partner, Karen, was telling me a story about this real estate agent lived in their area. And regardless, he will like leave gift baskets for everybody. Now, he might not know every single person in the neighborhood. It's not whether or not he knows them, but it's relevant because they're typically themed based on the holiday that it is. And all of those people are homeowners. So it makes sense. What would be a little bit trickier is if you went to like a monster truck rally and started and put baskets everywhere. I don't even know if monster truck rallies would be able to be allowed right now, but it wouldn't be relevant to that particular event. So it'd be kind of confusing. However, I would also argue that it might be relevant or it might not, because I think that the definition of whether or not something is spam is not in our definition as the person doing the outreach or the person doing the posting, but actually it's in the eye of the beholder. And so I have this like 4-part little sequence when you're doing outreach to make sure that it doesn't have that same feel, that spammy feel. The first step is acknowledge the awkward. The second is let them know why you're reaching out. The third is to give an agenda and a time frame, and then ask what's called technically in the sales world a temperature check, which is something like, how does that sound, or how do you feel about that, or would that be helpful? So here's an example. Let's say I'm reaching out to someone that I haven't talked to in a long time. I would just acknowledge that instead of pretending not. Hi, I know we haven't chatted in a long time. I'm reaching out to you because I have a business helping X type of people with Y types of problems. And I thought of you because you're also a business owner. I'm thinking it'd be helpful for us to connect. If you would like, I really love building relationships with other business owners. I want to invite you to a virtual coffee date. Love to hear more about your business. I'll share about mine, and then maybe we can find a way to help each other. If it results in something great, if not, no big deal. I was thinking like 30 minutes tops. How does that sound? Now, this is actually an invitation to a networking relationship building appointment, not to a sales conversation, because we are not reconnected. So it would be irrelevant if I just said, hey, I know you're a business owner, you want to buy some stuff, unless there was a connection there. But it would probably be you want to talk about, right, something else. So I wanted to take some time to explain the difference between spam and not spam, because when we get confused, then we just stop doing anything. And if you're worried about whether or not something feels spammy or not, I just recommend to do the four-part outreach, like I said, and just start by acknowledging the awkward. Hey, I know this is out of the blue. Hey, I know we don't talk very much. Or this might not be something that is something that you're looking at, but I thought of you because I think that those buffers, they're called, or acknowledging the awkward is super helpful. So I hope that this video was helpful for you, made you feel a little bit comfortable with what it is that you're doing, and then also give you some ideas on how to communicate with people in a way that strengthens relationships as opposed to making them super weird. Have a great day, friends, and we'll talk soon.